If you're just joining us currently, welcome back to DUDEPOOL Gaming. Up next is topic number 2, and I'm going to give that to Danny Mother Flippin' Peel, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice, okay. Alright. So, this is the year that virtual reality finally comes home. And we have a few big hitters in this little race. So we have the Oculus Rift, which is, I think you guys probably saw, has just been announced at a pretty high price point, which has upset a lot of people, and they're bundling it with an Xbox controller
A lot of
for some
stupid
reason. Sure, yeah. We'll get to that, right? We have the HTC Vive, which is the only one where you can actually kind of move around physically in person, and that translates to the game. We have PlayStation VR, and I think is Microsoft working on something as well, maybe?
Well, they have the HoloLens technology thing going on, but it's not the same.
That's right. Okay, well, it's
neat.
I mean, they're all a little bit different, aren't they?
It's more of like an augmented reality, and rather than a true virtual reality.
Right. Okay. Right.
But it's fucking cool. Technology's not where it needs to be yet for mass production, but they're working on it.
But the virtual reality, on the other hand, is looking really, really promising this time. And I'm actually, for the first time, I'm getting excited for it. Like, I am going to want a PlayStation VR. I don't know about the others, because I don't think I'll really be able to afford getting all of them. But PlayStation VR, because I know I've got a PlayStation that can run it, and it comes with a little processor box, right? So, yeah, I'm excited to see what they're going to do now. These could be such a variety of games at once, especially on the Vive, games that you can't get anywhere else because of the way that thing works. So I'm interested to get your guys' opinion on all the competition in this little race and what you think is going to happen.
Well, I mean, do you know much about the Vive? Because from what I understand, it runs through Steam.
Oh, really? I thought it was your cell phone.
No,
it's not one of those?
No,
it runs through Steam?
No, it's a headset just like Oculus and shit like that, and it runs through Steam games. I'm pretty sure Valve is funding it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or at least a partner with NVIDIA.
Right.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. So it's got its like full screen and everything. It's all like packaged into the one thing. It's all got the hardware all on your face, and it's all connected.
Looks just like the Oculus.
It's all connected to your computer, I guess, right?
Yeah. It's ported through the back.
And then you just run those HTC Vive games that will only run if you have that peripheral.
No. It plays. You don't disconnect it completely from every phone thing you're thinking of. It's just the name.
No.
HTC Vive. And it plays all Steam games.
Yeah, but it plays it off your computer, right? Or is it like in the...
No, it plays it off your PC.
Right.
You need a gaming rig. Yeah,
Okay.
it's essentially the console that is running it, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well,
I thought you were saying it plays like phone games, and I'm like, you're not gonna buy a $700 headgear to do fucking Simpsons Tapped Out, like.
I mean, sorry, go ahead, Danny.
I was just wondering, is that 100% accurate what you're talking about there, Nikolai? Like, running from the PC and it's all connected up? Cause...
Oh, it's wired. It's definitely not wireless, yeah. Yep.
Oh, no, I didn't mean it wasn't wired or anything like that. Just like, is it definitely sort of tied into Steam and then to Valve and what they're doing? Because I know a lot of the demos have shown...
I know Valve is inherently connected to the thing. I keep seeing stuff... from people who are like, I can't wait for the HTC to come out so Valve can start making fucking games again. If they ever feel like jumping back on that horse.
That's cool, though.
But I mean, for me, like, gaming applications for VR are super exciting. But for me, the most exciting part is the unknown. Like, especially with the Vive, for me, being able to move your head around lends itself so much to otherworld VR experiences, like traveling, or say I'm moving to England, Danny, and I want to look at an apartment. Well, I can put my Vive on, move my head around, and look up and actually walk around the physical space of the apartment that I could potentially be purchasing. Say you're a retired veteran and you want to have a very fucking realistic Vietnam flashback. You know, like you could do. Yeah, there's traveling. I don't know why I went there with it. That was cool, but.
Man, who would
You
just
went
choose
there,
to
man.
do
You
that?
went there.
I don't know, man. I'm just freeballing ideas here,
Okay.
but like traveling, you know, I the way I see it,
Vietnam?
yeah, I picture retirement homes just being like VR farms and like people.
Just like white boxes.
Yeah,
like,
you sign into
Wow.
like the retirement home when you're 60. You say goodbye to all your friends and family, and you
Like,
jack in, and
you
you're
they
done.
screw the Vive onto your freaking
Yeah,
head.
yeah. It
You're
looks
going
like
to
the
some
memory
weird
disc from
dystopia,
Fallout
yeah.
or whatever. Everybody's just like,
Wow.
wow, you're drooling. You got a catheter in you, going into your piss bag. You've been in there for 5 years. You don't get unplugged, right?
This is how it
But in
ends.
your
That's
head-
amazing.
In your head, you're like, I've been taking a shit on my gold-plated toilet seat in my mansion for the last 6 hours. This is great.
I'm gonna go fuck my wife Beyonce now.
Yeah, dude, right?
So
All right.
what you're
We know
saying,
you like that Oprah money.
what you're saying basically is that the VR is bringing about the Matrix.
Potentially, like it's the start, at
Yeah.
least, or at the
It kinda
very
is.
least, those digital headsets from Demolition Man that they used to have sex
To have
with each
sex,
other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it's. That's what's gonna evolve first. Yeah, no sex, and then we become batteries.
But on a serious note, the games look fucking cool. I mean, yeah, you're right. The PlayStation VR is going to be the first one that I buy because the headsets are going to be expensive. Anybody that didn't realize they weren't never really followed how the 3D TVs worked out.
Right.
The technology's it's ready, but it's not ready to be cheap yet. You know what I mean?
Mm,
It usually
totally.
happens about five years after the initial launch
Right.
of
Right.
of hardware and stuff like that. Once the companies have generated some fucking income from this stuff.
Totally. Yeah.
And the supply and demand thing starts to level out a bit, then they start to drop the prices, right? But until then, the technology is it's probably some of the most advanced stuff at least in the consumer market space right now. So to think it was going to be cheap was ridiculous, especially with the amount of years that these things have been in development and going to trade shows and trying to get the PR up and raising awareness. Because VR there was a stigma for a lot of years, even
Oh, yeah.
after people were doing demos. They're like, I don't know, right? But then everybody,
Totally.
sure enough, they kept going to these shows year after year after year and actually demoing VR one-to-one with real people and not doing these horrible stage shows that just don't show off VR well at all.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, more adopters started getting it. And then industries like experts like John Carmack and shit were like, this is the truth. And John Carmack says that, and I'm like, I believe him. Yeah. The guy's obsessed with technology and making it the best that you can and advancing technology and stuff like that. But yeah, so I'm super excited. I'm gonna probably get the PlayStation VR first, and I would love to get I gotta wait to see on whether I want the Oculus or the HTC, because if the HTC only runs off Steam games and doesn't really step into the foray of what else VR can do outside of gaming applications, then I'll go with the Oculus, because that's why Facebook bought the Oculus. They see limitless potential outside of gaming, which excites me. It's a cool new medium,
It definitely is.
right? It's what the what was the Nintendo one? The Virtual Boy.
Boy,
It's
yeah.
what the Virtual Boy should have
Right.
been.
Yeah.
When my mother rented it for me when I was 7 and I almost had a seizure playing
wow.
Mario fucking Tennis in red and black wireframe graphics.
Great.
Man, that they had that out for you to rent. I didn't even know that was like
Dude,
that.
that's how I played the majority. I was always a console generation behind, right? 'Cause
Yeah, I
we were
understand.
fucking poor growing up.
Like,
but-
I understand that you could rent consoles and stuff. I just never knew that the Virtual Boy got to a point where
Yeah, for like the week of its life existence on planet Earth, you could go in there and rent one, and sure as shit, they were all in stock.
yeah. No, I wonder why.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the $6.99 for that. That's for the Oculus, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty fair. It seems like it's obviously like one of the most advanced. I don't know. I guess gaming. You could call it gaming application or peripheral that you could get.
Right.
And I mean, they did say it would be around a console price, which is a little bit lower, I think, than $6.99. So that's probably where the anger, I guess, on that price point comes from. Is that it's more than a console.
Well,
you guys said it's going to be a console, and it's more than a console. But I mean,
they're not being rational because it's no more than a TV, and you have two tiny little monitors in there that shoot 1080p, and they have direct feeds.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of technology in
like
that
shit.
shit.
It's worth that much money.
Yeah,
obviously.
there's so many like gyroscopes in it, and motion sensors and head tracking stuff. Like, that shit is expensive, man.
No, it's not cheap.
Oh yeah.
No. But I mean, I personally will probably only get the one. Really, I don't know. It depends. I mean, I've never really. I haven't really thought about getting an Oculus for like the ability to walk around a different house, or like the ability to, I don't know, FaceTime with my friend, so that it looks like they're standing in front of me or something like that.
But like it's for the things that we haven't thought of yet. Like, picture like what if Facebook does a little thing with Google, and then you could just go into fucking Google Maps, you know, travel the fucking world, sit down on Street View. Little things like that are just super exciting to me, and I want to do it just so that I can try it. But you're also talking to a guy that purchased DJ Hero 1 and 2. And the PlayStation Move
after you got the first one.
Yeah, it had different DJs.
Oh man!
But I didn't know anybody on the planet that had actually bought that stupid game, and I had to try it, being the obsessive gamer that I am. So I went out and fucking bought it myself.
I was pretty excited to see that you had it. To be honest,
that's right. Get drunk and play some fucking DJ Hero. It's a party, man.
Yeah, that's a good party.
We'll do a let's play of it, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be alright.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I liked VR. I really like the idea, and I fucking love that Adrift game and the idea of having that as VR. Fuck yes. But I mean, with the PlayStation VR with that game, like, I'm still gonna have to use the controller to like move myself around and look. But it's just
no.
Oh no, you can't look.
You in all of them. That's the thing. You move your head.
Okay.
As
but
the right stick
Oh, I see. But body movements
is the left.
are not
stick.
recorded.
No.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Well, the way that I see it is that, I mean, I don't know. I don't mind having the controller for movement and stuff like that. If you can move your head, that's cool. That's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, it's just that's apparently the hardest thing to get over. It's just basically learning a new skill for gaming, right? It's gonna take a while to figure out. Like, also, how the hell is going up a spiral staircase work when you got to keep shifting your head?
Oh shit! Yeah.
'Cause that's the same problem I had with the PlayStation Move. But that's why they're saying you can't just. The best VR experiences are going to be built for VR from the ground up, and not just ports of your favorite Call of Duty or whatever. And
no, that'll probably
bringing
be
it over.
disgusting.
Yeah, that's why Adrift looks so promising, because
I know.
You
might as well have made it.
There
right for
are no
VR.
spiral staircases in space.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
But the one game, like, fuck Adrift. Adrift looks neat, but Eve Valkyrie looks fucking dope.
Yeah,
is that the one where the eagle?
No, you're basically in an X-wing flying around in space combat, looking out and fucking shooting other ships and shit. It's awesome.
Why don't I know about this?
Check it out, man. I think it came out like 2 years ago or something like that.
Oh, it's already out, so it's not being made strictly for VR.
It is strictly for VR experience. It's one of the main demos, one of the first demos that came out for, or not the first, but like, yeah, it's one of the big demos.
Damn.
Built specifically for VR.
Damn, that sounds fun.
Yeah, right? If you could flip and put VR into a Star Wars-centric VR game where I'm sitting in a TIE fighter.
Yeah. It's like the battle pod of the movie theater. Fuck, that's insane.
I'm gonna cry.
That's really good.
Yeah, man.
What do you think? Do you think No Man's Sky would be good in VR?
Do you think No Man's Sky would be good?
Well, that's a whole other can of worms. But I mean, if No Man's Sky is a good game on its own, do you think VR would lend itself to No Man's Sky?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
A
It's
game
first person.
specifically about exploration? Absolutely. I didn't see a single stairwell.
That's gonna be your main hang-up on VR right now, isn't it?
Pretty much. You gotta, like, you walk underneath those giant brontosauruses or brachiosaurus thingies that they show in the trailers, and
probably called,
you
like,
just look
poop
up and the
donkey.
big swinging dino dick's about to slap you in the mouth. That's just totally immersive.
Yeah, that's a good weekend for Nick.
That's an every weekend for Nick.
But yeah, I love the idea of VR.
Yeah, what about you, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sold on it for a lot of the stuff you guys are talking about. My only concern with not the longevity of the Vive, but how many people are going to really be able to use it, because if you need a lot of space, I mean, we're talking about 10 or 15 foot square room full of space to walk around to really get the most out of that thing, and I think a lot of people aren't going to have that. So I worry about, I mean, I know VR, you're going to get, like you said, it's not going to take over the gaming industry. You're going to have what you have now, but you're going to have this as well. And I think the Vive, I don't know where it's going to sit. I think it's going to be more of a, what's the word, like something, yeah, I guess a niche item that people who can afford to splash and have enough space in the house will get it, but I don't think it'll be as mainstream as something like Oculus or PlayStation VR, which I think could really catch on. And you could translate a lot of games to them, especially first person. I mean, it's built for first person, really, isn't it? So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, again, it all comes down to developing for it specifically. Like,
Exactly.
they're gonna have to have developers develop games specifically for that new sense of motion tracking in the Vive compared to the other two. And yeah, I think it picks up a 15-foot radius or something. I think was the spec that I read, but that doesn't necessarily mean that has to be used for games. I mean, inherently, gamers, they typically don't like to move around while gaming anyway. So maybe you use that as you don't use the full 15-foot radius as a gameplay mechanic, right? Maybe you throw a lean feature in there where if you can lean around corners by actually leaning on a couch or something like that, right? Like, they have to. It all comes to it comes down to how creative the developers get and how much. Because I have to imagine Valve is primarily going to be making a lot of games for that in-house, first party, and recruiting people for it. And on top, and they are an insanely creative group. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. It's definitely competitive, and Vive definitely don't have the brand awareness of the other two right now. They don't have the benefit of the free PR that Oculus Rift got for the first few years of its life cycle, being the only one. And people being just naturally attracted to it, and they definitely don't have the same kind of PR push that Sony has, because they have just funded a bunch of money to it and tried to get the name out there as much as Oculus. Right, so I think it is probably the lame horse in the race, the Vive, because like you said, it's a bit more niche, and they don't have the awareness of the people.
That's right.
So that's the dark horse, I think, but.
If only one of these ends up making it through this sort of like first wave of kind of competition here, which one do you think it's going to be?
Oculus.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Oculus. PlayStation hasn't proven to me that they can handle their peripherals and shit. The Move, they just sent it out to die. The Vita, they kind of sent it out to die. DJ Hero, they sent it out to die. Well, that wasn't a first-party thing, but it died. You know, like, they just haven't yet. But they've put so much fucking money into this that I feel like they're going to. I feel like the headset looks comfy as shit, and it looks way sleeker than the others, in my opinion. And it all comes down to third-party support and the games, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see, We'll see.
It's exciting, though.
Sure is.
It's exciting, man.
Sure is.
I mean, could you imagine playing Hatful Boyfriend on VR? You know, talking a little pigeon dating sim in first person?
Yeah.
Holy Jesus! That bird's got some nice breastises.
I'll never leave home again. Like, why would you need to? I've got pigeons at home I can date.
You heard it here first, folks. Taylor Sager dates pigeons.
Exclusively.
On the DUDEPOOL Gamescast.